It's like, you know how Mel was saying, "Oh, I didn't really enjoy Lisa Frankenstein, but there's no like cultural or like uh social significance to it." I feel
Yeah.
like I like this movie, but I don't like what it's saying on the cultural social side.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And I'm Elle.
Actually, it's Detective Steph Harker. I changed it so that I'm really in character right now because we're diving into Longlegs. His legs weren't even that long.
Yeah. Pretty normal legs, actually.
They were very normal. That was like the least alarming thing about him was his legs. They were regular size Nick Cage legs. Okay. okay, I have some things to say. I wrote a blog about this, but like only half because I don't like to do spoilers on that thing. I like to give options, but obviously we're going to cover these things on the podcast because this was my most anticipated movie of 2024. And I know I wasn't alone. I was so excited for this movie. And so I have to say, like, when that's a thing, you kind of have to be prepared for uh like the downside of the hype because
It was a
okay,
letdown. I think I walked out of the theater thinking, this is ass if I don't
you texted me
understand
that
it.
exact.
Yeah. And the reason why was because it had my expectations up so high, and it really
Right.
was something I needed to sit with.
Yeah.
When I first came out of it, it wasn't that it was a bad movie. It was about like Late Night with the Devil where I was fucking jazzed to see it, and then I went in and
Yes.
then I was like, "Oh, that's it." And
Yeah.
I still have a problem. I'm always going to have a problem when your lore is based on the devil's a bad guy. Did you know that the devil's a bad guy and evil is a thing external from humanity that you can get infected with and not something that's inherent in human beings? And we can blame it on this fucking fictional fucking creature. I hate it. I hate it because as somebody from the Pacific Northwest that got hit, my community got fucking hit with the satanic panic shit. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's good story building. I don't think it's good lore building. They did so much good shit on top of that. And to me, that's a sloppy foundation, brother. That's a real sloppy foundation.
Kind of felt so for in my mind, there was three notable distinctive sections of this movie.
Mhm.
And the first two were like phenomenal. And then you get to this third and this ending. Oh, and it was so very disappointing. It was it was not the same like tone as the first two parts. It was not fleshed out. It kind of like rushed to wrap everything up.
Yeah.
And like I I almost like can't forgive that them doing that. But
Well,
they did. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say they gave us this massive exposition dump at the end. It was like an Anne Rice thing, Steph. You know how when she kills someone and she just dumps everything? That's
Yeah,
what
and
they're doing.
I don't like that. I do not like that. My biggest thing about this movie, and because I in the blog I couldn't talk about like the in-depth things, I really tried to focus on the things that I really loved about this movie. So when I was watching this movie, I was literally in the most worst pain I've ever felt in my life because I was on vacation in Connecticut and I fell in our Airbnb and I was like, I can't wait 4 days till I get home to watch this movie. We need to see it tonight. And so I was trying to thug it out. And literally at the end of this movie, I couldn't walk. Like my boyfriend tried to carry me, and I couldn't even like I couldn't. I literally sat down crying and had to crawl out of this theater. So a part of me was like, dog, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Like, how could you possibly have enjoyed this movie? But I just,
I had a similar situation, but because I tried to hold my pee the whole time. And I did it, but I was
that's
fucking pissed at
incredible.
the end. And then they gave me that exposition dump. I wanted to fight somebody. On top of it,
Yeah,
my shitty theater system put this in the auxiliary old theater. I was at the second showing that they had because we didn't get it till the next day because we're freaking yokels. Okay. So the second showing, there was like people standing in the room because they didn't, but they had four screens showing fucking Despicable Me 4. God damn it.
don't you worry. I'm gonna write a strongly worded email about
It
that
doesn't
shit because
matter. They're
that
hawks.
pisses
They
me.
ran that QAnon movie for like
Oh, right,
six
and I'm black.
months. It's
Oh,
not gonna
sorry.
matter. It's
No, that's crazy because even when like the Popcorn Frights movie, it's in like this old busted down theater, but they will open an extra like room when it's oversold. Like if more people show up, they'll open another theater to show it. And like y'all need to put some respect on horror. You
they
need to
don't.
put more respect. Like that pisses me
I
off.
will say they
That
did
pisses me
give
off.
us a room with a door.
Okay, so at least you got a door.
I got a door this time.
Okay. Well, we're moving in the right direction. So we want to talk about things that I love. Uh and it took me like I really, really had to sit in my feelings about this movie for days,
Same.
you know, and it was haunting me. Like I kept thinking about it. So that I love that. The marketing was so fucking good because I complain all the time about trailers ruining the entire movie. That pisses me off. People need to go to school apparently to learn how to make good trailers again. And Longlegs was dropping the tiniest little bloop nuggets. They really, really did a good job of hooking us,
Mhm.
getting us talking about the movie. There were so many people like busting at the seams. Like I need whatever this movie has to offer. That's talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. I really respect that. And then, you know, then the movie came out. And then, I feel like a lot of people were feeling how we were feeling, but then the interviews start dropping. And it's I in a lot of the movies that have come out this year, the instant the movie is out, there's tons of press. It's like they were saving all of that and they drop it all at the same time. And this was not like that. All of it was very controlled. And so it gave us time to like be hungry for it, like digest the information that we were getting. I feel like all of it was super smart. My chest hurts though, because
They they did interesting things. Um, I usually talk about the lore, so I'll go there. The
yeah,
dolls weren't terrible. They were kind of just like my problem with the dolls is like in the larger scheme, like why? Why was it fucking dolls? Like I think Nick Cage said that he was supposed to be like some kind of fucked up Geppetto, which okay, but like it was just it was a weird thing. Okay, I could have just like if that was it, I could have put it to the side. Um the balls that look like things from Phantasm looked like there was like a UFO flap back in I think it was the 80s where they found like these balls that were like doing different things that defied the laws of gravity and shit. So there's a lot of lore surrounding that. I think that was a solid pick for like a cursed item. The whole like essence of the devil or the essence of Longlegs and they
yeah.
mind control and you can't remember
Thoughts.
and it's a lot though. Like
Mhm.
it's very convoluted.
I definitely feel like it was kind of too much with the dolls. So, like, not the dolls themselves. So, okay, when you think about it all together, I hated that her mom was part of it. I really, really, really hated it.
I mean,
I have
I
so many
caught
thoughts
that
related.
when I first heard them talk on the phone. Like I was like, "Oh, this has something to do with her mom." Her mom. The
Oh,
other
I
thing
didn't.
is
I just
people
thought,
were saying that Micah's performance was so unsettling. She's autistic coded. I don't know why that's so unsettling to normies. There was nothing unsettling about her to me at all. Her mom
Her
I
mom,
felt was off, you
I
know?
thought her mom was an alcoholic, to be honest. The first time that they talked on the phone, I thought that she was like an alcoholic, like hoarder kind of person that she kind of was like really
Yeah.
wary around. That was just my first guess. I didn't think that she was involved, but I was very confused about how Micah like like what her deal was because
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just not psychic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
She's
kind
not
of
psychic.
psychic. That's the thing, is it's like a power that's given to her by the ball, kind of, I
No, I
guess.
figured it out. No,
Huh.
I figured it out. Okay. I watched some videos and then I was like having dreams about this stupid movie. It's not stupid, but like no. So that's why I'm saying it's just like too much. She's not psychic. She's connected because her doll is still alive. Like her
Okay.
doll is still there. So like and that's why she was hearing like the whispering and stuff. Because that those balls are the connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is in there that links them to the devil. The mom, she's a nurse, right? And you see that box of stuff that she kept all of Micah's hair and her teeth and her nail clippings because she was just she's used to collecting that stuff. That's why it's so easy for her to get like the human hair and stuff for these dolls. It's real silly. So Longlegs, he's not even like the bad guy. Him and the mom, they're just like, I feel like he's like an eccentric old weirdo who got like he got wrapped up in this devil shit at some point. They said that he like used to be Nick Cage and Oz Perkins were saying like he either used to be a glam rocker,
Mm-hmm.
like he got all caught up in the plastic surgery, but in the 70s and 80s it wasn't like super awesome. So that's why he's all scarred up. He's not like a monster. He's just an old guy who got bad plastic surgery and
He reminds me so much of Jeremiah Sand from Mandy.
yeah.
That's who he reminded me of. I was like, Nick Cage just took another like traded
So
roles,
his
it felt
movie, he was
like.
in that movie.
Yes, and he was phenomenal in that movie. Not that he was
Yeah.
bad. He was creepy in this, but again, I felt like so much just like hinged on you thinking that like behavior that is like normal drug addict behavior, normal
Yeah.
autistic behavior is unsettling. And it's like, bitch, do you understand where I live? I live in fucking Methville in the Pacific Northwest. None of this shit
Yeah.
scares me or unsettles me. I'm just like, get away from me, bro.
Right. I lived in Daytona Beach for 7 years. Like, there's meth heads all over that shit. But he literally, and this is why I'm just like really confused. People thinking of how scary his performance was, like the regular stuff, like anytime they showed him, because he literally modeled his performance after his mentally ill mother. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's not like he's not modeling himself after a serial killer or anything. Like it was his mentally ill mother.
Yeah.
And he was taking like her mannerisms and still trying to like embody that like washed up glam rocker who only lives now to like please Satan.
Well, see, here's the other thing. You do a deal with the devil. What the fuck did you get, bro? What did you get
Well,
out of that
he
deal?
may not have gotten anything. Like I know what the mom got, but just Longlegs really just seems like it was for the glory. Like
Hmm.
that he just made that his freaking life. And maybe there's backstory like that we don't know about, but
Yeah.
they didn't give us any in any of the dump. And so I can only imagine that I think the most interesting thing about this movie is the cuckoo thing.
Hmm.
I literally like that boggles my mind. The whole time this motherfucker is in their base. I think that was the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. So, cuckooing is a crime where someone takes over your house and uses your house to do exploitative things.
Hmm.
Okay, to do crimes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's what he does. Okay. And then that's what the mom goes on to do with these dolls in other people's homes. And it's just like one big giant cycle. And it
Yeah.
could just keep going on and on forever.
And like I've read and watched plenty of analysis that, oh, this is about the helplessness and how the devil was in control the whole time and like pulling all the levers, and there was no point where she had any agency. She was always going to play into it. This was just her stepping into her part in it. And so it's supposed to be like this like existential like statement about evil. But
Yeah.
again, it hinges on this swampy ground of the devil being something else and evil being something outside of humanity that can simply infect someone and then they're fucked. And see, that is dangerous thought. Just like it's dangerous to model a serial killer's behavior on somebody who's simply mentally ill, because it's
Yeah.
all of this shit that demonizes and just like marginalizes like storytelling wise apart. And I mean, I'm reading more into it. That's what I do. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but
It didn't sit well with me when I even when I thought about it. I was entertained, but
I mean, I really like it. I get why it doesn't sit well with you. Um, I feel like evil and mental illness and mental slash physical handicaps really go hand in hand in horror. And sometimes they're in such sneaky ways. Like when we did when evil lurks and the autistic boy with the demon inside of him. I didn't even bring it up because I forgot, but I had taken a screenshot of this conversation that other people were having about on Facebook about the little girl from Hereditary. They
mhm.
were like, "Oh, I thought she was autistic, and it's highly likely that she was possessed the whole time." And I'm just like, this the whole conversation is terrifying to me. It really, really makes me uncomfortable, because I have family who's, mentally ill and all of that. It is just, I like the movie. I like the
Yeah,
things, but that's something that actually scares me.
yeah. I think that it's like, you know how Mel was saying, "Oh, I didn't really enjoy Lisa Frankenstein, but there's no like cultural or like uh social significance to it." I feel
Yeah,
like I like this movie, but I don't like what it's saying on
yeah,
the cultural social side.
agreed.
And the thing about it is that somebody like me, I'm gonna pick that out. I'm gonna be a bitch about it. I'm gonna toss it out of my mind. But like there are people that watch things that get these subliminal things in their head and then they're shitty people in real life, and I would hate for
Yeah.
that to be a thing, you know?
No, for sure. Also, let's so fucking for real. This is not the scariest movie. What was this claim? The
No.
scariest movie of the past 10 years. Let's be for real for a second. That's a
This isn't the
wild claim.
scariest movie of the year. This isn't the
It,
scariest movie I've watched in the last
uh,
month.
it's really not that scary. It's really not. It's really not. All those
No.
things. Everybody who's scared of Nick Cage, I'm like, watch some Nick Cage movies.
Watch
Watch
Vampire's Kiss. Watch
that's
Vampire's Kiss.
scary. He assaulted his freaking secretary. Like that was scary.
I
At the
believe
same
he
time,
was in like a witch hunting movie too.
yeah, yeah, he was. Season of the Witch. It's so good though. It's
I
really
never watched
scary.
it because I hate that shit. Because again,
I
they
know you
didn't
do,
burn
I
witches, they
know.
burned old ladies. It's not
I
funny to
know,
me.
but this one was actually a witch, if that makes you feel better. She
I
was
it
very scary.
doesn't though. It really doesn't, because it's just like this. It's like this one really is the devil. But you took something that was a boogeyman that hurt real people, and then you
Yeah.
made it into what the adversary that did the crime said it was. And to me, that's dirty. I don't like that.
Honestly, though, I don't mind when it's like, oh, is it the devil? Oh, it actually is the devil. When like everything kind of is leading up to that. You know what I mean? When they started comparing this movie to The Silence of the Lambs, I was like, oh, so all of those like red tinged snippets that were coming out, and it makes you think that it's supernatural. Okay, so it's like not supernatural if it's a
Hmm.
serial killer, and then it turns out that it is supernatural, and that's something that I'm not really fond of because it's like the movie Cobweb. This could be supernatural, and then you're like, oh, there's a perfectly logical explanation. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it is completely supernatural, and I'm like, why? Why did you do that? Why?
Well, the other thing though is it can be supernatural and you can create terrible monsters with being supernatural. You can create demonic entities that do
That
demonic
make
things that
believe.
are evil. You don't have to use the Christian devil and the freaking background of the satanic panic to do it. Because to me, that is picking up on something that was real and detrimental to society. Communities like the one that I live in still dealing with the fallout from that.
Yeah.
People lost their livelihoods. People were ran out of town. People went to jail that didn't do anything wrong. I don't think it's funny. I don't think
No, it's
it's
not.
fertile
I don't
ground
think it's
either, you
supposed to be
know?
funny. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be funny at all. But I also, I think we talked about it. I really feel like most people who use this as a device are not thinking about that at all.
Yeah. I know.
And if they're
And
like,
I'm
oh,
picking it apart because it annoyed me because I
yeah,
wanted it to be something that it wasn't. That's what it comes down to. That's what I'm doing here. That's what the podcast is when something pisses me off, I pick at it. I pick at things that I like though too. So
she's a picker. There's always potential to just be a little disappointed, even with stuff that you like. I feel like because it was so anticipated, I wanted it to like scare me. Like I wanted it to scare me, like how the first Omen scared me, or like more, because I'm like, there are people watching this, there are people testing this, like before it gets to us, there are people watching this.
well, to be fair, it was a very good film.
No, it was good.
it did what it did as a film very well. So if you're not picking apart the social threads, the lore threads, any of that stuff, what it did as a film, it was beautiful. The aesthetic sharp, perfect. The music playing in with the way that the sets were, playing in with the way that the shot, the tension created with some of the camera methods that they used. Like it
Mhm.
was an outstanding film. It's just like for me as a
It
writer
wasn't
and a
scary.
storyteller, I'm gonna pick apart the story. And
Mhm.
that's what I focus on. And it's just like some people listen to music for the lyrics, some people listen to it for the guitar, some people listen to it for different things. This is the same thing. And the people that were reviewing it early on were film critics that were watching it for film, for the medium that it was, the visual and audio medium as an art form. They
They
probably
have
were
a mix
people.
though.
Huh?
They have a mix. They have people like that, and then they have their friends, their family, and then regulars. Because
Mm.
I've sat in on screenings with the mix of people. Those people have reserved seats, and then they fill in the rest with everybody else. Me. So
Oh, I thought you meant like the advanced critical
yeah,
review.
and those also.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was just saying like the advanced crit I'm not surprised it had 100% from the critics because it's a good film. It's a very effective film. There's no reason why it wouldn't have had the scores it did from somebody that was rating it as a film.
Yes, I have no complaints there. Dying to see it again. Honestly, I will probably wait though until it's out of the
I'm not
theater.
going to see it in the
I've given
theater
up
again.
my Regal Unlimited pass because like there's not much left. I'll wait to see it again. I just wasn't scared. This was more like I think it's honestly more like a drama, but with the
Yeah.
devil. Like if the devil were Prada, you know what I mean?
I went into
Yeah.
the movie not knowing what the hell I was going in for, which
Honestly, yeah. I I was expecting honestly, I was expecting a serial killer, and it was like less serial killer and more of her trying to like figure out why she's bugging. Which like same girlfriend. But the Hail Satan and him smashing his face wide open, That,
It didn't flinch either because it showed the dead bodies on the bed too of the
yeah,
one of the families. It did do the gore. I mean, I guess it was convincing.
yeah,
It was jarring.
yeah.
It did a few jump scares too.
It did do a few jump scares. I really liked Micah Monroe since It Follows. I really, really like her. And I saw one interview with her where she was going for Rooney Mara in the Dragon Tattoo movie. And they did like this little side by side of the two, and it's like purposefully like uptight and awkward. And I was like, yeah,
Are
it
we
was just
rating
so
this one?
cute. Yeah, why not? You go first.
Why do I don't have no idea what I would rate it.
So here's my thing. I'm gonna give it 4 chuds. And the reason I'm gonna give it 4 chuds is because great movie, right? I feel like there's potential for me to change my mind later and give it more chuds because I feel like this is the kind of movie where you'll keep learning from it, and between now and my second viewing, which will be whenever it comes out, I'll gain more and more little tidbits. So by the time that I watch it again, I'm probably going to be like, ooh, what if there are more? Yeah, what if there are more revelations? Also, I mean, unrelated, but I keep forgetting about it. Not that Oz Perkins was in Legally Blonde.
Oh, I think I'm about at a 4 too.
Yeah.
Um, I have issues with it, but again, it's just like lazy storytelling to me. They did a lot of things right.
He has the potential to keep making these kinds of movies and like really just get better and better. So I really hope that he'll stay,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. I guess I came in really hot, but it was because
You were mad about the thing.
yeah, I'm mad about a specific thing that a lot of movies do. On top of
Yeah.
it, this isn't the only movie that does it. The reason I'm mad about it is I've been watching horror since I was 5 years old, and I hate this fucking trope. I hate it.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. I think that there are social consequences for it because it's some shit that I've had to talk my mom down off of on multiple things because she thinks that the
Do
devil is pulling the strings. It's like, no, bad people pull the strings. People are completely capable of evil.
you think that, he could be aware of that also, but it could be something that he's maybe trying to dismantle, like this is a foundation. I feel like this was a very foundational movie for him. I don't know where he's going to go
Yeah.
from here, if there's going to be a sequel or a spin-off or, something else entirely. He could keep building on this universe, make something else, but he seems like a really smart man.
Yeah.
So maybe,
Maybe it's not his agenda, it's not his prerogative, it's not his perception of it either. This is
yeah,
just my perception from my view as somebody who has been in a community that was very affected by the Satanic Panic. Mandy also talked about the
yeah.
Satanic Panic, but in a completely different way.
All right. So, I mean, we're going to give it 4 chuds and see where that takes us.
Mhm.
And yeah, in the meantime, you can find this podcast on the interweb at ghostinthemagazine.site. You can find it on Instagram at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Steph Spector.
You can find me at Nocturnical.
Okay, bye.